Hey, howdy, friends. It's Steve DePoe here with the Rose Realty team with this week's real estate vlog for North Texas. Today, we're going to talk about, I think we're going to talk about how it got colder last night. And so I think fall is definitely here, has definitely come to North Texas, right? And the other thing is, today's November 1st. It's my birthday. Hey. Anyway, our main topic is buyer rep or buyer agent activities. I'm going to explain to you some of the activities that we do as agents, buyer agents, and how they kind of benefit you. So let's get into it. So first of all, help our clients um, find a suitable property that fits them based on their preferences, needs, budget, that kind of thing. Hey, look, some of this stuff you can do on your own, right? With today's technology like Zillow, homes.com, realtor.com, some others, you can do these searches on your own. The trick, however, is weeding through them. Number one, weeding through them, categorizing them, and number two, what you don't have access to is something like off-market properties, marketed properties that are held by brokerages as exclusives, those kinds of things, and you don't have access to those where we do. Okay. So, and again, not all brokerages have, like, for example, the exclusive listings where Keller Williams Go Management do. And so if you're looking for a specific house, I can check that as well, as opposed to just MLS. Now, what MLS also allows me to do is coming soons, where you don't get those coming soons. We get those through MLS or through our brokerage. Next, we conduct a comprehensive market analysis. Now, this helps in two areas. Number one, hey, you see a house, it's listed for so much. Is that listing realistic? Okay. So I'm able to do, a study or an analysis to say this house with this many bedrooms, square foot, blah blah blah, is worth so much, and is it a fair market price or not? Is it overpriced, underpriced, etc. Second thing is based upon the trends in specific neighborhoods or towns or cities or whatever. I can do an analysis to say, the prices in this particular town are coming down. They inch down, 3% over the last year. So this price being offered is either not taken advantage, but anticipated that decline over the last 3 months, or they did not. Okay, and then we can then adjust our offering to make sure it's in line not only with the market trends but also with the neighborhood. So you don't want to buy a house that's like, let's say, the smallest house in a neighborhood and pay the biggest house prices. Okay, so we want to be able to do that analysis and understand where we are and where this house fits in with the rest of the neighborhood. Um, we then also can do negotiations, on behalf of our clients. And so it's very difficult. I find it very difficult um, for when a client or a customer negotiates for themselves, partly because there's emotion involved. Now, I've always said to the clients when we list a house, I've always said it becomes a business decision and we've got to try to take emotion out of it. I understand. Like, if you're listing your house, for example, I'm going to change direction here. If you're listing a house, maybe that's where your kids grew up, or you raise your kids, or maybe that's where you cared for your parent or a loved one for the last 5 years. Get that, understand it. But what we have to do is understand that a lot of people sort of then, sorry to say, kind of don't care about that, and they either want the house or don't want the house. At the same time, you have to kind of guard yourself against just going nutso on a house, saying, "Oh, I want this no matter what cost," because you don't want to pay, way overpriced for it. So when you have a buyer's agent representing you, being a fiduciary for you, we're going to do the right things. Not only it's a combination of what the client wants, but also what the best thing is. So I would, if you all came in and said, "Hey, I want to buy this house and I want to offer $200,000 over list price," I'm going to advise against it because it's going to take a long time for you to recoup that $200,000 lost equity. And so I'm going to advise that we do a fair market price. Now, of course, if the house is out of this world, and you feel you're going to be there forever and that kind of stuff, maybe that's a different story. But what we also do is kind of temper the emotions, that the client or the buyer may have, so that we don't overpay, right? Hey, before we move on, hey, we'd like you to do us a favor. You're watching this video, so you're probably already on our YouTube site, at Moving to Dallas, Texas. If you could like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, that'll help you out because you'll get information and alerts about our latest topics and our latest files and our latest videos, etc. Plus, so you'll be the first to know. Plus, it'll help us out. It'll kind of move us up the food chain a little bit, and it'll get us, to the kind of like the top viewing spot, in the area. So we thank you for doing that, and we really appreciate you helping us out. Okay, so next, we can help advise clients on financing options, including mortgages and lenders and types of mortgages and pre-approval process, etc. Hey, look, once you put an offer in on a house, or do you find a house that you want to put an offer in? That's probably a better way to state it. Once you find a house that you want to put an offer in, the clock kind of starts ticking, and there's sort of this checklist of things that you have to do in order to be able to close on that house and move in a timely manner. And so that includes inspections and mortgage and and stuff like that. And so what's going to happen is you're going to say, "Hey, I want to buy this house, and we're going to put in an offer." Before I even put in the offer for you, I'm going to say, "Hey, who's your lender?" And I'm going to talk to your lender, and I'm going to say, "Hey, can you get, Bob and Sally commitment on their mortgage in 15 to 21 days?" And if not, then I've got to kind of temper or modify the paperwork, right? And that's all important, because if you don't get that mortgage commitment in that period of time, then you're going to lose your escrow. Okay, we don't want that to happen, because that's 1% of the. Did you even know that? That's 1% of the offer price of the house, and so we have these steps along the way, that we're going to adhere to, and at the same time, we know lenders who are sort of out there and have all these really fancy, new and innovative financing approaches, and some of them are more traditional. You could go to your bank like Wells Fargo or Chase or somebody like that. If you've been banking there for a long time, but they typically take a little bit longer in the financing process and the approval process, and so we have other mortgage brokers or mortgage bankers, that we can recommend. Another thing we're going to do is we're going to talk to you about coordinating a home inspection. A home inspection for your typical home is going to cost somewhere around, in this area, is going to cost somewhere around $650. If you're gonna have a pool, if you have a pool or a termite inspection or a pest inspection, et cetera, that's going to add to that cost. If you're going to do a complete plumbing inspection, where they shove the camera down in the pipes and stuff, that'll cost extra. But we're going to coordinate the home inspection, and then maybe more importantly, what we're going to do is we're going to help interpret what that inspection says. Now, when the inspector comes back, you're going to have like a 30-page report, and a lot of people like freak over that. Okay. And what the inspector will do is he will just check off every tiny little thing. Not every tiny little thing has to be repaired. Okay, we look at the important things the structural, and we look at the important things is the structural, the safety, and I like to look at what I call big ticket items. And sometimes that goes with structural and safety as well, kind of fits in there. So we're going to look at, we're going to look at the structure of the house, the foundation, cracks in the walls, that kind of stuff. Then we're going to look at safety. Is the walkway kind of heaving a little bit and split, and et cetera. And then we're going to look at some big ticket items like HVAC and hot water heater, the plumbing, those kinds of things, right? And what the plumber, excuse me, not the plumber, but what the home inspector will do is going to walk off every tiny little thing, and not every tiny little thing it falls in those categories as is a major faux pas. Okay, we're concerned about the roof. Well, there's different things in the roof that happen. And not every little thing that the inspector checks off actually needs to be repaired. And sometimes they do a disservice. They're great people. We have a great list of people we work with, but sometimes they kind of do a disservice in the when they do the inspection and some of the things that they check off. So we're here to kind of help walk you all through that to make sure you understand exactly what it says. We insist in all of the paperwork and preparation, right? And so we walk you through it page by page, paragraph by paragraph, to make sure you understand what you're signing and why we're putting this number here and a check mark here and that over there and that kind of thing. So we help you prepare the paperwork. So when it gets to the other agent and it goes through the compliance system, it's going to go through two compliance systems. It's going to go through our compliance system at Keller Williams Dallas Metro North, and it's likely to go through the compliance system for the seller agents brokerage. And so we want to make sure that it all fits, it all goes through, it's all compliant, it's all acceptable, those kinds of things, and not something that has to be completely redone all the time, or is an error in the first place or whatnot, and something that will allow the seller. We don't want to have something that will allow the seller to get out of it, out of the contract, through negligence on your part, and we don't want any issues where maybe your escrow money's lost, okay, because the form is filled out incorrectly. So we're going to walk through that, and we're going to make sure that it's perfect. We're going to support you through the closing process. That's again understanding what's happening, where to send money, how much our money should be. We're going to help you avoid as best we can. We're going to help you avoid wire fraud. Okay. Actually, I think during the whole process, which could take anywhere from 21 to 30 days, you're going to sign like 3 or 4 documents that alert you to wire fraud. It's that bad. We know how many fake emails do you get a day, or texts do you get a day, that kind of thing. And we're going to do our best to do due diligence to help you avoid wire fraud. But we're going to walk you through the process, and we're going to explain the process each step of the way so that you all understand it. And then lastly, post sale. So you're gonna close on the house, you're gonna move in, and you're gonna say, hey, who do you have that can clean my house? Do you know a landscaper? What plumber do you recommend? Anybody, we knew that we had this little a couple of shingles broken on the roof. Who would you recommend that we call to fix them? That kind of thing. And we have a list of people that most of them that we've worked with ourselves that have worked on our house. Those are the only people we recommend that we can vouch for. There's been people that we've actually taken off our list because they didn't return phone calls. So post sales, we're going to help you walk through that. We're going to help you with any updates you may want to do, etc. Because we've got people who can help you. We also have, just as an aside, we also have a project management group or team that if let's say you were out of state and you wanted tile done and countertops and new cabinets put in, before you moved in, we can help project manage that for you, and we'll get to that later at another time. But that's one of those post sales kind of the activities that we can provide. Hey, just sort of on as a side, we take a look at this slide here. This slide came out of National Association of Realtors, and it's the 111 to dos now that you've decided to buy a house. And I know it's small, you can't really see it that well, but it's 111 steps or tasks that once you decide to buy a house that you're going to have to walk through to complete in order to buy that house. And this is what a buyer's agent does every time they help a buyer buy a house, kind of even behind the scenes that you don't even know that's going on. So we'll tell you, hey, you need this, you need that, you need this, but at the same time, we're doing, it's like a duck, right? You don't see him flapping, pedaling below water, right? And so there's these 111 things that have to get done, that most of which fall on us, that we're doing behind the scenes to make sure that you can buy that house. So I hope that was a little bit helpful. We talk about buyer's agents a lot. I happen to be the buyer's agent, or a buyer's agent on our team, where Rose is like the seller's agent. But we I know we kind of talk about it and explain it a lot, but in this kind of new world we're living in, it doesn't help to kind of bring it up. Hey, next week, speaking of buyers agents, next week we're going to talk about and try to explain at a very high level the outcome of the Department of Justice lawsuit that occurred, or that was resolved this past summer. We're going to try to explain just a few points on that to kind of help you understand that a little bit better, and how you should, if you're not working with us, how you should be working with your buyer's agent when you decide to buy a house. Hey, I am Steve DePoe. I am with the World's Realty Team. Have a good week.